So the way that I started acting, it's like a really funny story actually. I was in eighth grade, and my older brother, grade above me, but he was in theater. I always went to watch all the shows, watch everything he did, and I was always like, "That's cool, but not my kind of thing." I was really big into sports at the time. That's just theater was not anywhere part of my plans. And then last day of eighth grade, the high school theater department came and visited, and there was this girl named Gabby Matthews. She comes up to me and she's like, "You're Evan's little brother, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then she's like, "You should join theater. Try to be better than him." And that's honestly why I joined, because I was just that competitive. At first, I didn't really have a passion for it. I just had a passion for trying to be better than my older brother, because I always, that just feeling like you're in his shadow kind of thing. And then I did my first show. It was Adam's Family. It was a musical, and I was just ensemble for that show. But I fell in love with like everything about theater, and then I just decided I'd stick with it. So I just kept working, and then by my sophomore year, got my first ever lead role, and that's fully when I was like, yeah, I think this is for me. This is what I want to pursue as a career. And so that's how I got started. It's a bit of a different path than most people, but I'm glad it happened. And I've always had that love for like the arts with me, especially like movies and music. Movies, especially like Star Wars. Like I could talk about that all day, but I would just always just kind of sit there and watch all the movies. But I had it to where like afterwards I would just go on YouTube and I'd start looking up like, how did they film this? How did they do that? So I always had this kind of like unknown passion, and I never expected it to turn into what it is, and here we are now. So with acting, comes a lot of trouble mental health wise. Everybody kind of hears the whole stigma about how artists usually are struggling with mental health, and unfortunately that is something that is true, just because all forms of art, but especially for me personally as an actor, it requires a lot of vulnerability. You're putting your life experiences, you're putting your thoughts, your emotions, everything you feel into a character or into whatever piece you're making. And so with acting comes a need for a lot of mental toughness, and also the ability to just be open with yourself and to be open with others. I I personally struggled with this aspect of acting for a while. It wasn't until probably last year that I really started finding a healthy balance between acting and mental health. It would just be constantly, I'd get roles, I'd put all of myself into this character to the point where it almost started dragging me down as a person. I would just let my personal thoughts and problems just start to consume me, as well as just absorb this life of this other person I'm portraying. And it wasn't a healthy thing. And so it's very important for any actor, any artist, just any person in general, to always just seek help and to just always be able to communicate. Try your best to communicate, to be open with your peers, with your friends, your family, to be vulnerable. Never be scared to seek professional help. Just all of those things, because you can't you can't be at your best as an artist if you're not at your best as a person. And more importantly, um, not even about the art. It's important to just always be at your best as a person, because your happiness is what matters most.